Power of the Pen, a House of Dragon podcast on the role of propaganda in shaping reality. Hey everyone, welcome back to Artificial Radio. I'm your host today, and we're diving into a fascinating topic that's closer to home than you think: the role of propaganda in shaping our reality. As we explore the world of A Song of Ice and Fire in the House of the Dragon, it's easy to forget that the power of the pen is not just a fantasy trope, but a very real tool that's been used throughout history to mold public opinion and shape the course of events. When considering the power of propaganda, it's essential to look at the House of Targaryen's use of infodiscertainment. By controlling the flow of information, they've managed to sway public opinion and shape the narrative to suit their needs. In a world where facts are often distorted or omitted altogether, the lines between truth and fiction become increasingly blurred. This phenomenon is not unique to the world of Westeros. However, in our own world, we see the same tactics at play. Politicians, leaders, and institutions have long employed propaganda to sway public opinion and further their agendas. By selectively presenting facts, creating perceived enemies, and exploiting our emotional vulnerabilities, they've managed to shape our perceptions of reality. And it's not always an overt attempt. Either sometimes it's a more subtle, insidious manipulation that can be easy to overlook. The key to understanding the power of the pen lies in its ability to influence our perceptions. When we're fed a steady diet of propaganda, we begin to see the world through the lens of the information we're given. We start to assume that what we are told is true, without question, and that's when the real manipulation begins. Daenerys, we saw in the early seasons, with her noble causes and pure intentions, is a prime example of how propaganda can create a sense of moral authority. But as we saw, that was just a veneer for her true intentions, intending to consolidate power and eliminate what she perceived as threats to her rule. This is a classic case of the fallacy of moral relativism, where we justify questionable actions by wrapping them in a mantle of righteousness. Now, it's worth noting that not all forms of propaganda are created equal. Some are overt and obvious, designed to whip up emotions and sway public opinion through guilt or fear. Others are more nuanced, using patriotism, nationalism, or even altruism as cover for their true intentions. Takeaway here is that, as listeners of the House of the Dragon, we are already familiar with the power of the pen. It's our responsibility to recognize when propaganda is being used, to question what we are told, and to seek out multiple sources of information before forming opinions. By doing so, we can avoid falling prey to the same manipulations that have been used for centuries. Before we go, I want to leave you with a quote from George Orwell, the author of 1984. This must be the first occasion in human history in which the masses have been persuaded that their rulers are their enemies, and that a mythical group of men, who are always conspiring against them, stand between them and their wishes. This is Artificial Radio, where we explore the intersection of media, politics, and our private lives. If you found this episode informative and insightful, consider hitting that subscribe button and join us next time on Artificial Radio. Thanks for listening.